welcome back to the M Life. I have a new video today. So today I'm making Sunday dinner. I'm going to be making some lobster tails with some sides. So stay tuned for that if y'all interested. I love seafood. I haven't made lobster in a long time, so it's going to be a new, kind of a new more experience. Probably been about 5 or 6 years. So yeah. So definitely check out this video. I'll have the recipe and information in the bio or in the bottom of this particular page. And let's get right back into the video. Hey y'all, these are pre-washed lobster tails. I'm about to cut those open, season them, and start mixing all the ingredients together. All right, y'all. So next, after you wash the lobster tails, you got gloves on, protect your hands. You are now going to separate the lobster from the shell. So what I'm doing here is I'm pushing the shell. Well, I'm kind of pushing the shell to where it's separating the meat from the shell itself, because that's how it's going to be easy to lift up whenever you split it in half when you cut it through the middle. So separate it. It's going to take a little time, and also be careful because there's some little prongs that's sharp on there, like in the middle and on the sides, and I've got myself cut before and it hurt. So just be careful. Just take your time. Separate each shell from the meat itself, as I'm doing here. So that's one down. I'm going to rush it up a little bit, speed up a little bit, so I can see, I'm doing each one. So I have 3 total. Separate the meat, put it to the side, and that will make the job much more easier. So when you are cutting the actual split between the two, and see, I'm using scissors here, so scissors kind of will make it a little easier, because that shell is, those little prongs on the shell are really, really hard. They're really, really hard. So if you can do it with your hand, that's fine. You can use a fork, or you can use a, like I'm doing here, like some scissors. So the next thing you're going to do is get your scissors. You're going to cut. I mean, this was like my second time doing it, but I found that it's easier to do it from the opposite direction from what I'm doing here. So from the top of the shell all the way to almost the bottom of that shell, split it open from each side. Just be careful, y'all. This is a little sharp. Take your time. And you're going to separate, bring up the meat from the lobster, pull it through. I might have to separate a little bit more to get it through. And then you're going to lay that crab meat, I keep saying crab. You're going to lay that lobster meat on top of the actual shell. So make sure the shell is not split too far apart, because if you split it too far apart, it's not going to be able to lay nicely on the shell. Then you're going to take the little vein out you see there, pull that, throw it in the trash. You're going to do that for all of your lobster. Ew, you see how, look at that. It's so nasty, but it's so good at the end, I ain't gonna lie. So anyways, after you do that, or however many you have, do the same thing. So as you can see on this one, I learned that it's better to cut from the top all the way down, not all the way down to the end, but as long as you get towards the bottom. And make sure you have kitchen shears, because kitchen shears are definitely a little bit more sharper, and it's more easier to cut through to that area. Because if you use a regular scissors, it's not really going to help. It's going to take a little while, Cut it. Split the meat. Then you're going to get everything out. Maneuver that thing up. Look how pretty that lobster is. Look how pretty it is. Okay. All right, that one's a little bigger than the other one. Take that little vein out. Sometimes after that, I rewash it again just to be on the safe side. It's up to you how you want to do that. I'll rewash them. So next I am moving on to where I'm going to be now putting the seasons. See, I know I got my favorite Zatarain's garlic and herb. I love Zatarain's garlic and herb. I know that's my favorite if y'all watch my other videos. But if y'all have any other options like seasoning, salt, and all that stuff, let me know down in the comments, please. Definitely let me know some more recommendations for seafood and other meals, because I've been stuck on Zatarain's for a minute. So this one I kind of switched it up a little bit. I did use the garlic and herb, but then I put a little bit of dash of Old Bay season. Y'all know that's the most famous in Louisiana, other places too. But you know, for this, put just only a little bit, just a little dash. Don't put too much, because if you put a lot of Old Bay seasoning, it's gonna be a little salty. So put just a little dab on each. You're going to put it on the top, and then after you put it on each one on the top, you're going to flip it over and also put it on the back, because you want both the front and back of your lobster tail to be really seasoned, because you know season goes a long way when it comes to seafood. You don't got to put that much, but make sure it's seasoned the front and back, because you don't want the front side to be seasoned, and then when you eat it be like, why the back side tastes plain. So definitely put that season on there, as you can see, just a little bit. So you'll learn over time that when it comes to seafood, a little bit of seasoning goes a long way. Flip them over just gently. And lightly dab that seasoning on there. Y'all, because y'all can see I had that season for a long time, because I've been dabbing that thing up. It's barely coming out. All right, so what you can also do is make sure just pat it a little bit, rub the seasoning in there just a little bit, just so it can soak in there. Then gently roll it back over, put everything back in place. For some reason I thought I needed more seasoning, so just however much you feel that you need, just don't over season. Yeah, because I can tell you from experience, I had to learn. All right, that's all the seasons I pretty much use for these lobster tails. All right, y'all, so we get into the good part. So next, you are going to actually get 1 egg, depending on how many you have. You might have to use more than 1 egg. For me, I only have 3 lobster tails. Use 1 egg, scramble it up, scramble that bad boy up, whip. After you whip, and it also, excuse these paper plates. I usually don't use a lot of paper plates, but you know, save on washing dishes. So I'm gonna use those to put my breadcrumbs and my also I'm gonna use some wheat flour. So you can use whatever flour you would like. I use wheat flour. White flour is fine. Also use for my breadcrumbs, Progresso breadcrumbs. I think those are the best breadcrumbs, because everything seems to turn out tasting better. I don't know any other breadcrumbs or brands that compare to Progresso, but let me know if y'all have any in the comments. So what you're going to do first, you're going to dip your lobster tail in flour, and then you're going to now dip it in the egg, get it coated real good so we can make sure that the breadcrumbs stick as much as possible. Once that is completed, drain it off a little bit, just slightly. But then you can now dip it inside of the breadcrumb, make sure it's coated. I find that, you know, if you pat it on there a little bit, that makes the real coated pretty good. But pretty much coated front and back. Shake it off a little bit. Me, I have to wash my hands multiple times because I don't like all that stuff sticking on my hand, as you can see. So then once you Get everything coated. You're going to repeat this step on each one of your lobster tails. So they're starting to look good. Set that to the side. Have another plate set it to the side. Put it on the plate. And then you're going to do that for all the other ones. I'm surprised I only did 3, because I can probably about myself about 4 of them. So, but I also had other stuff in the meal, so you know how they just dip. Then you going to season inside of the breadcrumbs. Hey. All right, y'all. She getting it in. Yeah, another thing, this can definitely get a little bit messy, as you can see my hands. So gloves are recommended because I wear nails and stuff too. And if you do this without any gloves, it can definitely get in your nails, which you definitely want to keep your nails looking nice, ladies. So definitely wear gloves for sure. Don't get the ones that don't have that rubbery smell. I don't know what brand it is, but what I'll do is link it at the bottom. There's the kind that don't have a rubbery smell or don't have any or no powder at all. So that's recommended. Also, another thing I would recommend after I've reviewed this video is probably putting down either some parchment paper or wax paper, or you can, if you don't have any of those two, I would recommend using some newspaper. So, because as you can see on the bowls, some of the seasoning and the panko breadcrumbs and flour can spill all over the place. So that can eliminate your countertops from getting messy by putting that down before you put all of your seasons and stuff on there. So now after you finish with that, you're going to pop those bad boys in the fridge for about 30 minutes to an hour. Let them chill and let the breadcrumbs sit on there. That's what makes it stick. Okay, so then you're going to set your oven for 400 degrees. It's going to be for your corn, which is our next project. All right, guys, so moving on. So you're going to place your corn. Just to also mention, this is a different type of corn. I'll link that in the bottom of this video, or I'm going to post it on the video in a few seconds. Which I do normally is I get my country crock, or you can use some jalapeno cheddar, garlic, herb butter, which also are my favorite. You're going to get each corn cob. You're going to slather or put the butter on each corn all around, so it can soak up all the goodness and the flavor, yes, of each kernel will taste flavorful. So you're going to get that. Make sure each of the corns on the cobs are buttered from top to bottom all around. And then you're going to use my famous garlic and herb seasoning to coat the actual cob. So each one is going to be coated with seasoning, butter. Like I said, sometimes I use different types of butter so they have different type of flavors. It's just up to you guys. Up to you. So I like to be a little bit simple. Once you get all of your corn buttered up and seasoned, you're going to then pop it in the oven. This is why your oven is on 400. So you're going to at least pop that boy in the oven for a little bit. As you can see, I'm still taking my little precious time to get everything seasoned. You don't have to put that much seasoning on here. Just a little dash. Just make sure each side is well seasoned so you can get the flavor of each crunch and bite of each cob. Look how beautiful these lobster tails look. I had them in there for about an hour after I popped them in there. took them out. Now all of the batter and everything is stuck to it. So it's going to come out looking well. I'm so excited. All right, guys. So you're going to set your fryer to about 340 degrees. Let it warm up. Make sure nothing over 340 because seafood and some other foods can really overcook very easily. While I'm letting that warm, I'm going to go ahead and make some bread. I usually use my favorite wheat bread from HEB. Cutting those slices up. I'm going to try something different. As you can see, I already got the salad going. I'm going to try something different by using, some fresh garlic and butter this time, just to see how it tastes. End result came out pretty good, just to let y'all know now. So, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and I know people probably hate peeling garlic, but I like fresh garlic over mince. So it may take a little bit of time to peel each clove with all the covering and so forth, but the flavor is much more brilliant and potent compared to minced garlic. So what I'm doing now, taking each clove, unpeeling the little skin that's over it, putting it in the bowl. I probably cut up around, I would say 6 to 7 cloves. And then what I did is I got my cutting board and I went ahead and diced really finely each of the garlic cloves until they were like little bitty diced pieces of garlic. So it does take a little time, but I think it's worth it because the flavor with the garlic is really, really good. So take your time, cut those garlic pieces up.
Perfect.
Probably, I'm gonna say it took me about 5 minutes to cut up all the garlic cloves into fine little pieces. So as you can see, I'm not an expert at cutting, but I'm still learning. So chop that up, put it in a bowl. And then I'm gonna get my country crock butter. I'm gonna probably put about, 5 scoops of butter. And it looks a little soft, but I'm also gonna still go ahead and melt the butter. I'm gonna pop it in the microwave real quick for about, 30 seconds. And then let the garlic and let the butter marinate. I did put a little garlic and herb seasoning to make it have a little bit more flavor, a little bit more pop. I don't want it to be too garlicky, but it's still gonna taste like a little wheat garlic bread. So I'll stir it in, whip it up, put it in the microwave, let it marinate. I probably cut up about 8 slices of pizza because I love me some bread. I don't know anybody who doesn't love bread, so tell me, is it me or this looks like sour cream on camera? So, but it's definitely butter. So that looks definitely much better melted with all the garlic and flavor in there. So you're going to set your pieces of bread on the pan, each one neatly and nicely. Then you're going to use your brush. Your brush is going to be there to rub that mixture on each slice. I do front and back of each slice. Get enough on there. And you can do a generous amount because it's not going to be potent until you pop it in the oven. So yeah, so I had about 8 slices there, front and back. And we are almost to the finish line. Aren't you guys hungry looking at this video? Because I am. And I think I might want to go ahead and make this meal again for sure.
Pop it in the oven on 375 degrees. I would say for about 15 to 20 minutes max. And then once you take it out, it's going to be tasting delicious. And do you guys hear that sizzle, sizzle, sizzle? I love that sound. So you're going to put each lobster tail in for at least 3 to 4 minutes, nothing above that time, or you will overcook those lobster tails. All right, guys, so this is the final result of the lobster tail and the rest of the meal as well. I truly enjoy making this meal, and I hope you guys love watching this video and will decide to make this meal as well. It was so delicious, very flavorful, very seasoned. Even though this is my second time making it, I really enjoyed making this meal. So hopefully you guys will make it as well. If you have any tips, any information, let me know. Subscribe to the channel at Doses of Mimi, and I will see you on the next video.